Welcome back to FlexPath DXP YouTube channel. Terry, what's on your mind?
Hmm. What's on my mind? Well, let's see. Let's pick one. There's a lot going on, as always in the industry, right? But the biggest thing we're working with right now is in-store conversion. That's just one of many things, right? But it came up recently because we have dealers that are using our shop by payment, which starts with budget and type of car, not a car, right? And if you think about it today, most consumers, with the affordability issue we have that's going on, it's all about what can I get for my monthly payment, right? And I keep telling everybody also that cars today, there really is not as much brand loyalty as there used to be. So cars today are you can just pick one and it's like great, right? Kia, Hyundai used to be vehicles that as a leasing company we would not lease. Today, I make some of the best vehicles. So, today's world, it's not about I want a specific make because of that's what I've always bought. Now it's what are the safety features, the technology and safety, what are the entertainment features, the technology and entertainment. And I only want to preface this discussion because of when we talk about shop by payment, again, what can I get for a monthly budget? I need to get a sport utility. Or I want a convertible. What can I get, right? Um, and the way we've developed shop by payment, it doesn't even necessarily sit on a website. It can, and we get great results when we have a shop by payment CTA, but we have dealers that are using it in different ways in marketing and advertising, from TV ads to even billboards. Actually, we have a credit union that we work with that's looking at doing a billboard shop by payment with a QR code, something that everybody's used to doing. Everybody's scanning menus or whatever with QR codes. So it makes sense that we incorporate shop by payment into a QR code. And one of the things that we've done is we have this card, and this is just one example of this is McCluskey. We have these cards that we've created with, so when a consumer shopper comes into the dealership, at some point a discussion becomes around what do I need to buy something, and I usually the payment budget comes up, right? And so when they hand them this card, especially on a busy, yesterday I was at 4 different dealers, and they'll be like, yeah, I mean, somebody comes in, we're stacked up with people, everybody's working a deal, but here comes somebody, and what are they going to do? So another local dealer we work with, and we'll be talking about this in future episodes, they're creating more of a Apple store type of thing where you come in, you're greeted. It's a different experience, right? Again, people are used to a certain type of experience, and if you duplicate that and they associate Apple with a good experience, right? I would think most people would think that if they go to an Apple store, even though there's people everywhere, you're greeted, you're put into a queue, and you're taken care of. So, but at the dealership level, these cards can be handed so that a consumer can basically start with your budget and with the right vehicle. And you can go ahead and start with scanning this QR code. We'll have somebody work with you in just a moment. But in the meantime, you can scan the QR code and start shopping by your monthly budget, see all the vehicles that in our inventory that you qualify to buy. That experience gets that customer now into the buying process without talking to a salesperson. It gives them the chance to start doing something. And then these are all over the dealership. They're creating signage for shop by payment, start with your budget and end with the right vehicle. Something that's pretty cool because if you're stacked up, you're busy, you've got a customer that just gets in and they're taken care of immediately and they're on their way. That's loaded into the CRM. They may actually select a vehicle And by the time they're ready to talk to somebody at the store, that they've been there maybe 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, maybe while they're waiting for somebody, they may have already gone through the process. And Jay, you're the sales person and I'm the customer. I'm like, hey, Jay, do you have this vehicle? I'd like to see this one. And they pull it up on their phone because it's all done through the QR code and on their phone. They're shopping with their phone. Of course, we do the identity verification first, make sure that we're eliminating fraud because, again, yesterday I was talking to a dealer group, dealership, and they said that, it was Saturday. It was packed. Well, guess what happens when the dealership is busy? That's where the fraud comes in. The fraudsters realize that when you're busy, you're not paying as much attention to detail. So they're able to come in and take advantage of that. But if we're using a shop by payment experience where we've got the VeriQual identity verification using the one-time passcode, that helps eliminate that fraud right away. So now you're able to take care of customers when you're busy, or if there's nobody in the store and you're the salesperson, you can start that conversation with a shop by payment experience once you get to a point where they're looking at it for a vehicle and they're on a budget, because everybody is on a budget. We're excited about it. The dealers are excited about it. It's working. They're getting more conversion versus somebody coming into a store and saying, and I'm a salesperson, I'm saying, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to get that person's name, contact, and can they buy, right? If you think so, the consumer wants to know what they can buy for a budget. The dealership sales, they want to know who is this person and can they buy, right? And those are the two pieces on both sides that you're trying to figure out. Who is this person, right? I need to get their information as quickly as possible. And can they afford to buy anything? And again, using this, the QR code with a shop by payment experience, you're solving all those questions with one experience. And it's pretty cool. And the consumer adoption is off the charts. Everybody wants to know what they can buy for their budget. And again, I think I mentioned this before. This is not a bad credit product. Okay. This is everybody's got a budget. And actually, good credit customers have good credit because they have a budget. They stick with a budget. So everybody, we see full spectrum. We get as many over 700 credit customers as under 700 and everything in between. It's pretty exciting to see. It really is.
I like making some notes here. I like the appointment idea and the Apple Store idea. I think we can all pretty much agree that Apple Store has a feel and a look that makes we feel like VIP. And also an appointment, I think, also gets around the feeling of, there is that feeling, people I think can agree, whether you're a consumer or a dealer, that if there's a line of salesmen standing on the curb, there's something you feel like you're just not, you're not being treated the way you want. So if you can have an appointment at an Apple Store experience, you walk in. Also, the appointment, I think as you just pointed out, helps you know the customer better and what their buying power is as they come into the dealership. So that appointment, I think, is a win-win from what I could see.
Yeah, and like you said, the dealership wants to know who you are and what can you buy, and the customer wants to know, what can I buy? What I'm looking for, is it here? Can I get it at a budget that I can afford, right? So, and if you're able to get that customer working on that while you're finishing up a deal or while you're just talking one-on-one, because the shop by payment is so intuitive. It walks them through with less than a minute. You're looking at vehicles that match your budget, and new and used. Because if you think about it, our websites are set up to select new and used. Really? Again, with affordability, a lot of consumers don't care whether it's new, used, or CPO, as long as it's the type of vehicle they want and the budget that they can get. That's the most important thing. Like I said, we're using it with print, billboards, TV ads, direct mail, anything that stanchions in the store, right? You've seen Capital One with their stanchions in the store. I was in one yesterday that had the Capital One. Well, like the stanchion behind me, this is not one that a dealership would use, but we have the credit union putting them in their different branches with shop by payment, because the
Well,
credit union then has the inventory from their dealer now.
and you just made me think of something I think is important. And I also want to mention the FTC, and maybe there's an FTC consideration with new or used on websites. I don't know. But what you're making me think of is with a QR code, and whether it's new or used or CPO, these are terms of art in our industry. If you're a new consumer, you may not know the difference between new, used, and CPO. You just know you're looking for a car you can afford. And the final part I want to add is Gen Z, I think that's the new generation, they do everything with their phones.
Mhm.
So if it's a QR code that they're using their phone, they're probably feeling more normal about whatever process they're going through. Everything is phone based.
Yeah, it is. And that's why when I look at websites, dealer websites, even though I have my notebook computer, I always look at everything on mobile because that's what your consumer. If somebody's giving you a demo, whether it's a vendor or a website provider, and they're doing the demo on a full screen notebook, throw that out. Seriously, when we work with our dealers, and again the shop by payment experience, it's front and center. When you go to one of our dealer websites, um, you're basically picking one, two, three, four boxes. You don't have to scroll. One of them is always either get pre-qualified with just your phone number, or shop by payment. Because the get pre-qualified with a phone number, once it goes through and you're pre-qualified, it asks you, would you like to shop by payment? So we're able to get that customer corralled in a way that makes common sense, and in a way that they're comfortable going through the phases of, if I don't know what my credit is, maybe I do start with get pre-qualified. If I want to shop by payment, because that's what everybody does anyway, you can go that route. So there's a lot of flexibility, which is why companies called FlexPath. There's flexibility in how you implement. And go back to the Apple Store. You don't have to change your whole process. Okay, all you're doing is changing the front door. You're putting on a nicer front door, and a process that starts in a much more comfortable atmosphere versus five salespeople standing outside and around waiting to pounce on you. I'm not kidding. Nobody wants that. And there's probably uh, five different people being helped at a sales desk. There was nobody at the front desk, and I'm sitting there waiting for 5 minutes, and I'm looking around. People are moving here and there, and I'm like, I'm going to use the restroom. So I do that, and I come out, and then finally, as I come out and turn to the left, I'm like, I think it said sales manager, and it was inside a room with big desk. I'm like, so I go in there. It's like, oh, that's the person I was looking for. If you had a greeter, it gives you're taken care of immediately. You may just have a question like, I don't know, do you sell cars? Yes, we sell cars. We'd be happy to help you. Whatever, right? I don't know, whatever the question is. Or you may be like, do you sell motorcycles? Nope, we don't. Okay, well then, but you're taking care of people as they come in a nice uniform way. After that, you can do whatever you want. I mean, even if you don't do shop by payment, I would recommend everybody have some type of greeter at the door that takes the information and that can then put them where they need to be with whoever they need to be.
I totally agree with you on the greeter idea. It's probably a whole uh, learning and education center about the best way to approach a customer. You don't want to be standing on the curb, people ready to pounce. That's not good. We don't like that as consumers. But at the same time, we don't want to wander in and nobody helps us. And if especially if we see some people just standing around talking, it makes us feel neglected. So there's a delicate balance. I actually heard that like Sephora works pretty hard on this. Sephora is a makeup, like a high end makeup store, right? Where there's a lot of ladies there ready to help, but it's a light touch, but they make sure you know they're there at any moment to answer questions.
Right.
And even when we walk in a restaurant, what if we walked in a restaurant and there was no greeter and we're just kind of walking around? It would be very strange. So if you have,
Yeah.
yes, somebody in somewhat of a uniform with an iPad, again, like the Apple Store, it's interesting we're talking about this. This has got to be a huge part of what helps a consumer feel the right touch when they walk in a dealership, because that right touch is going to give them the feeling that they may want to buy a vehicle here. That's a big deal.
Yeah. 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 So one of our next series will actually be on site at the dealer group that we're working with on this, and we'll go through it. We'll record the whole greet and the whole thing, and then I think dealers will get an idea of what that looks like
And then you can demonstrate how the QR code and shop by payment works within the process, kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah, and that's going to happen very quickly. He is like ready to go. So this will be fun. I think it's going to happen very quickly. So
You are always very busy on LinkedIn. I just wanted to touch upon that real quick. You're seeing a lot on LinkedIn. I love to ask you, what are you seeing? What are you interacting with? What's happening right now?
yes, there are again three basic themes. Affordability. Everybody's talking about affordability, and 84 months. Are we going to go out to 90 whatever, 92 whatever it is, 96 whatever, or why are we in this situation? That's a big part of what I talk about because leasing is a great way to get people in budgets that they need to be in. And actually, it's not just doing that. It's actually gives consumers more flexibility in their purchase down the road. So leasing is a great opportunity. So I talk about leasing when somebody talks about affordability. Of course, the fraud thing comes up. That's not going away with Veriqual. I'm able to talk about fraud issues that people are experiencing, especially on the lender side. The AI is the biggest thing, right? That's virtually now everybody's an AI expert, and I don't think there are experts because it changes all the time, every day. But you need to understand and learn what's out there, and there's internal AI and external AI is how we look at it. So you have internal AI that helps you with all your processes and everything at the dealership level inside the store, right? Then there's external AI, and the external AI is more about how do we use AI to be exposed to our dealership to be exposed to AI answers when people are asking questions. So that's external AI. We work more on the external AI. We're all about filling that funnel. We can get into detail later on what we're doing. It's nothing new as far as the concept of what we're doing. We've been doing SEO back in the 2000s, right? And was able to get top ranking hundreds of terms that focused around vehicle leasing and make or model and lease. And then we're taking that same idea with schemas to provide answers when AI is asked when consumers are asking AI questions, right? It's not about just finding your store anymore or finding your inventory. You've got to be able to answer the questions that consumers are asking, and usually that's around what can I buy for a monthly payment or a budget.
Really good stuff, Terry. And on the mobile app on the phone, you just made me think. Yeah, I mean, I do try to watch since I'm into video. I watch videos back on my phone, and you also make me think of when I see TikTok. I never watch TikTok on a desktop. It's on a phone. And so, I mean, that's where people are. You're absolutely right about make sure it looks good on a mobile device or phone, and then do you check AI search on a mobile device? It occurred to me because I use my desktop for AI search stuff.
Well, actually, I use both.
You do both, yeah, okay.
I use the AI app, and sometimes, and matter of fact, it was kind of fun. And you know, we did use AI to help with this
Yeah, of
because it
course.
knows our
Why
business.
not?
But you know,
Yeah.
what was funny is the first iteration of this with one AI, and I'm not going to disclose which one, but we used one to start with this, and then I fed the design into another AI app, and it said too busy, too much going on. And the one AI app knows everything about our company. The other one does not. And I purposely do that because I don't need two different AIs knowing the same thing. Otherwise, but anyway, we went back and forth 4 or 5 times between my edits and the two AI edits to come up with something it's in, and I have people that I give it to, and I say, and they're usually all about simple is better, and I gave it to them. And again, I'm not going to say who, uh, and they were like, okay, that's good. That's a good piece, and you know, it makes a lot of sense, and you can see it there. You know, it makes a lot of sense.
It is. It's eye catching. It looks efficient, productive. I just want to say I agree with you on the AI. You know, AI now is everybody's talking about it. But when you use it in your own business process, I use it pretty much every day now. I really do. I've just got the free version and I regularly run out of free. I got to wait some time and I need to upgrade.
Yeah.
But what I'm able to do with AI in just my own business processes, it is amazing. And I think of where you needed a person and you'd have to wait and then give approval and comments and
Yes.
feedback.
No,
It's just
there's
crazy
great.
how much faster you could do things.
Well, and you,
And
well, yeah, go ahead.
no, and I mean, it makes you wonder, where are we headed with this?
Yeah, that's another topic we can discuss. But one more thing on the AI is we're actually seeing UTM codes through our leads because we attach all that, right? Everybody's tracking everything, and we're tracking we're all of our how all of our credit qualified leads, our VeriQual leads are being generated. And what's pretty interesting is that we're starting to see the UTM tags with like ChatGPT. It's not a huge number, um, but every month it seems to be more and more. And we're now, what that means is we're answering questions that people are asking, and they're going through our app to get the answer. So obviously, if we're doing that and we're spending more time on that because it's working, it's happening. You got to provide the right answers that people are asking questions for. And if you do that in a way that is trustworthy and it's easy to understand, then you're probably going to get surfaced, and it's pretty cool in the answers, and it's very cool that we're actually seeing that. And I don't know how many, and it's a combination, right? Agencies can drive traffic to a website, a landing page, a QR code at whatever. But once you get land where you're sending them to, if the answer isn't there, you're not going to get a conversion. So we're doing both. The marketing goes hand in hand with the conversion. It's not about traffic and page views and time on site, all of that. It really, the more doesn't mean the better.
Interesting you say this because I've been thinking about how, some people can be very territorial, and AI is not territorial. And AI helps you break through, just like you pointed out. You got your interior and your exterior AI. And just in this case, with those UTM tags, you can use your interior AI to make better use of your exterior AI UTM tags and feedback. I mean, it's breaking down the walls of speed, time, efficiency. I'm not here to say robots are better than people, but I am positive you're right about using AI to search for vehicles. People are doing it, and Gen Z loves their phone.
Yeah. So get used to it. It's going to be a fun ride. It's not going to be a short ride. It's going to be a long ride, but it's fast. It's speed is what's crazy with AI.
Another very informative session here on FlexPath DXP YouTube channel. Terry, thank you so much. I'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, Jay.